Hello everyone, welcome back to Winder's Mall Farms. As promised in our Wagner unboxing video, this is our review of the 1:64 scale tractors. Coming soon will be the 1:16 scale review, as well as the literature and the posters. We're going to show that in a separate video as well. But these are the 1:64s, WA-14, WA-17. My first thoughts when I picked these out of the package is they are heavy for a 1:64 scale. There's a lot of metal here, a lot of die cast. They have some weight. I mean, you can look under the underside. These are just solid. I mean, the only thing that's not die cast on this piece pretty much is this cab roof is plastic. The cab itself is die cast all the way up, and then of course these are flexible rubber, and then the plastic for that where your air filter would be, and then obviously like a flexible rubber handle, and then you got your tires. But the main frame, all this, all cast, engine all cast. It's got some weight and hefty, which I think is cool because the real ones were kind of hefty tractors, you know. So I'm glad to see that. They do have a little bit different roof here. The WA-17 does have this air conditioning unit here, where the WA-14, what I would assume is a intake for air to get clean air into the cab, but don't know if it's not really an air conditioning. You can see it better in detail on the 1:16 scale, but the tires are different and rims on these. We've got a skinnier. If you look, they're about the same height. The WA-14s are just a hair shorter in height, but they are a lot narrower. Let's put them front to front. You can see how much, well, you can't see. Now you can see. If I put these there, I mean, that's how much difference there are. And if you center it, it's a little hanging on each side. A lot narrower. I personally like the look of the WA-17. I think these taller, skinnier tires just don't look as good for a big four-wheel drive like this. Just a wide four-wheel drive tractor, I think, needs some wide tires. I think it looks really sharp on this one. I think they did a really good job on these tires. Not to say these aren't a good job. These are well made, and I know that it's replicating the real ones. I just don't like the looks as much. They are a painted metal rim, which is awesome. It looks phenomenal. The tires, I like the looks of these. They're beefy on this one. Good tread. These, like I said, they are well made, and Earl did a good job replicating the real thing. I'm just not a fan of the looks. Nothing Earl did wrong, though. The casting itself, like the tractors are identical to it, down to every little detail, except, like I said, they slapped a different plastic roof on here, which they did paint that plastic roof, and it does look nice. Then they put different tires and rims, but the actual frame, I've looked it over heavily. There's not a difference on them in any location. The bottom doesn't have a ton of detail. It looks like there's a screw there, so you can actually take it apart. That'd be interesting to see what's on the inside of these. We got pretty good detail. Like, look here. Kind of got some bolt detail on there. I mean, just look inside this articulation joint. Oh, they do oscillate. You can see that rear end oscillates. And for Ertl, not the best articulation, but better than some of the tractors they've made. I'd say it's medium to okay articulation, but I would have liked to seen just a little bit more articulation. And part of the reason it probably doesn't articulate as good is there's like a you can see, like, I don't know if there's quite, like, not really full on cylinder, but they did do a whole lot more of a detailed looking articulation joint with those two pins there. And if you look too, there is some bolt detail and all sorts of stuff down in this articulation joint from the side. That looks good. The hitch is realistic looking, although it's a smaller pin, so most Ertl implements won't hook up to that, but I doubt we'd ever have any implements hooked up to it. They've got all your hydraulic inlets and stuff up here, and that looks really good. I love the John Deere logo. The lights are just painted on. There's no actual anything on the casting there. Handle is plastic. I guess that's a safety reason, but it looks okay. These lights I love. So those are built into the casting, and they are painted really sharp. The grill looks phenomenal. It is just smooth painted on there, no texture, but it looks like it would have a texture. Some bumps in the casting for the headlights, and they're painted, which makes them look awesome because they like stick out off the tractor. I love that old John Deere logo right there on the front. That's awesome. Good clean decals on the side. WA-17. The engine's all right. You know, it's got some detail in there, nothing crazy. This side's a little more detailed looking. What you do get is a flexible plastic exhaust and air breather. I love the big canister air filter container, I guess it would be called. Good paint and detail here. The interior of the cab, not the best. Steering wheel's kind of huge, almost oversized. It's really hard to see in here, not good lighting, and the windows aren't huge, but it's basic in there. Basic interior. Steps are pretty good. I mean, all these like circles with all the bolt detail look really sharp. Steps are okay. They're textured. Don't know if you can see that very well on camera. One thing that I do have kind of a problem with, not a big deal, but one bone I will have to pick, and I understand why it is this way for money reasons. So the WA-14, you see the exhaust coming out of the side of the engine right there. WA-17, identical. These would not have been identical because the WA-17 is turbocharged. And if you don't understand what I'm saying, let me show you on the 1:16 scale version real quick. So this is the WA-14. Exhaust comes straight out of the side of the engine. No turbocharger. Exactly the same as the 1:64. But now if we look at the WA-17, the exhaust actually comes off the top up here, goes through the turbocharger, and then comes back down. So that 1:64 scale is not correct with this exhaust because that would have been a turbocharged engine and it wouldn't have been coming out the side like the naturally aspirated ones. So I do wish that that detail could have been on there. I get for money purposes why it wasn't. And I also get that these were kind of a bonus that weren't originally going to be thrown in. But that kind of bothers me a little bit because I feel like that is a major difference between these two tractors, considering the engine was basically the same. The engine was the same size engine, like one of them just was turbocharged, which is how it has more horsepower. So, I don't know, just a little bit of a, I guess I'm being ultra picky, but a little bit of a flaw with the 1:64 ones there. But overall, I'm pumped to get them, don't get me wrong. I would take them this way over not getting them at all. I think they're super cool. We're super blessed to be able to get our hands on a set, and if you get an opportunity to get them, they are cool if you love four-wheel drive tractors. They're kind of something that would definitely, if you're into older four-wheel drives, they're almost like a must-have for a collection. So thanks for watching. If you have any comments, let us know. Subscribe if you haven't. Have a good day.